Oh, what is your full name?
Alice Mary Idacilla Melvin Lempo Ross.
It's a lot longer than what I thought it was going to be.
Lyle, L-I-L-E, last name is Ross, R-O-S-S.
So who immigrated to the United States and how are you related to them? And where did they come from?
Where did they come from? Oh, I'd have to take a look at the paperwork to see, where in Germany they came from. But the Oldenburgs came from Oldenburg, Germany. And so that's not too hard to figure out. The Lempels, I'd have to take a look and see where they came from in Germany. But so that would have been my great-grandparents, I think, is how far back they came over. So pretty cool.
Right.
I touched on this just a minute ago that in my natural family, they immigrated from Germany right after 1800. It would be my great-grandfather, Martin Wagner, and his wife Eva. We aren't real sure of her last name, so I won't address that name. And their 4 sons all came at the same time.
So I know Grandpa's been working on the genealogy and it's really important to him and it's like pretty amazing. How important is it to you?
Oh, very much. Very, very much.
I'm a firm believer in what we're finding out about genealogy. And in my case, I have cancer. And my genealogy, when I found out that I had cancer, I had a niece who was a registered nurse came down to see me from Fargo. And we discussed what's going on in this world, the development of cures for cancer. And she suggested to me one of the most important things was to get a genetic footprint, which I did. And we didn't use it now for a year. And all of a sudden, discussing with my doctor, we find out they have 20 genes that have been identified that they have a pill for to combat and kill a certain cancer gene. My cancer gene that I have is one of those 20. And because I did my footwork planning ahead of time, now I'm in a position and have been asked to participate in a national study where they will take and we're going to verify that my genetic gene is still the right one. And once we get that verification, I will be going on that pill. And I will be taking a single pill instead of chemo-type therapy, even though what I'm on is not a chemotherapy, but it's a immune system therapy. And it has been working for me. 23 months ago, I was given 3 months to live. I'm starting my 23rd month in a few days. I'm 97% cancer-free. And I associate it to my genetic tracking that my wife and I have done to tackle and beat this awful dreaded disease. I grew up with 2 brothers. One was my natural brother. One was my adopted brother. Because I was adopted when I was 2 years old, I was just about 3. 1943, I was adopted. My original family, there were nine siblings, and 2 of them had died at that time already. One of suffocation and one of pneumonia. And so I had 7 there were 7 of us in the family when we were adopted. The family I was adopted into had 1 son of their own. And so I grew up with him, and then my younger brother, who was 1 year, he was my natural brother, 1 year younger than I am. We didn't associate with our biological family. And my adopted family, my 1 adopted brother, he was 11 years older, so we weren't on the same plane as far as what you want to do and don't want to do. So we didn't see him very much. But my natural siblings, as time went on, by the time I was about 15 or 16, somewhere in there, we had pretty well established our relationships with our natural biological family again. Even though it was frowned upon for a number of social and economic reasons. It's pretty hard to keep your own senses away when you all of a sudden you realize you have a sister that's 6 years older than you, and you go to the same church, and you have a sister that's 2 years older than you, and you go to the same church, and you went to the same school or did go to the same school, and you had other relatives that went to the same school and the same church. And I'm talking about siblings. So it was those are some real challenges in life. If you really care about your brothers and sisters, your biological ones.
But what special things would you like me to know about your family, either like immediate family or extended or distant family?
What would I like you to know about our family? Well, I would say that we're all nuts. Probably the biggest thing. We really enjoy doing fun things, and laughter is definitely a part of it. You just have to have laughter. But getting together and spending time together is very important. Whether it's playing a game or just sitting and chit-chatting or snuggling up on the couch, whatever, but always making time for each other. There was always time for each other when I was growing up, and that's something I think is really important, is to make time for each other, always. My sisters, we constantly talk to each other. If we haven't talked with each other within, say, a couple of weeks, we're on the phone. We always email each other. The majority of my years were spent living in town in Wadena. My dad and brother-in-law built the house, so we started out living in the basement first, and then when the house was finished, well, then we moved upstairs. So that was pretty cool to take and live in the basement like that. That was very nice. Something special in the house, I would say the special memories is that my oldest sister was married, and she lived in the house next to us, and her kids became more like siblings for me than nieces and nephews.
Did you have any chores as a child, and if so, what were they?
Yes, I did. And not like my older sisters, because at that time my family lived on a farm, so they had a lot more chores to do than what I did. But always the cleaning the house. The one thing that I was known for is, I suppose you could say I'm a neat freak. My mother would ask if I would bake a cake. I love to bake. But before I could bake that cake from scratch, not a box, I had to clean the kitchen counter off, because I can't stand to work in a mess. So Mom knew that she could get the kitchen counter cleaned off, and she could get a cake baked, all by just asking me if I'd like to bake a cake. And yeah, I loved it.
So the famous question, how did you and Grandpa meet?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, both Grandpa and I were counselors at Lutheran Island Camp, which is a Lutheran Church Missouri Synod camp in central part of the state of Minnesota. And so that's where we met. And I guess the rest is sort of history.
We were counselors at the Madeline Island camp, our church camp. We both were counselors there in 1960. And shortly after that, I went into the service, did my 3 years, and we had a very unique courtship. And that's history.
I would describe him as a gentleman, a very rare quality in men, a true gentleman. Someone who always drops you off at the door, who picks you up at the door, who opens up the door for you. Not just the car door, but every door is opened up for you. He's just a gentleman in capital letters.
She's very, very outspoken, and she's willing to help anybody. And especially when it comes down to anything religious, she has a phenomenal background of knowledge in that.
And the molasses cookie, oh my goodness, that one comes from Grandpa's great-grandmother. And it's a cookie that has to have the right kind of shape. You have to go to antique stores to find the cookie cutter, because you can't even buy that cookie cutter at all anymore in the store.
My mother made them, and she learned from her mother. She learned exactly how to make that German cookie. It had the molasses cookie itself is one thing, but if you didn't make the frosting right, you missed out on how to make the cookie, because that frosting had to be a scorched sugar frosting, so it had a light brown tint to it, and then putting a walnut on.
What do you love most about being a grandparent?
Oh my goodness, to be able to hug and snuggle and just spoil them, yes, because then I can give back to their parents. So that's my goal. Just take and love them.
I really appreciate when they come over. They will spend time. Not that we can always give the right amount of time, but if we can give the time, we certainly will. Because that's looking ahead, not into a mirror, but you're looking ahead into the looking glass.
Put your faith in what you